This is an untitled writing by McCloud Starsmith of Astridge Sector Alpha. Narrator, Teresa Garcia. The learner stared intently at the gadget on the table. Somewhere there was a mistake. They just had to find it. A question floated through the air like a cloud of smoke. How do you know what's wrong? The learner reclined in their chair, and the chair reclined with them. Somewhere between knowing and not knowing is, guessing, I guess. It's my very best estimate. Worthless, like all the rest. The insult slowly buried itself under the learner's skin. The learner bristled and turned to face their interrogator. It was the novice, their former rival. The learner readied their most mocking tone. Yeah, and you know that. How exactly? The novice shrugged. Experience teaches much. You will know this soon enough. It was a simple statement, irrefutable, but it still burned. The learner said nothing. The novice turned their attention to the gadget. Inscrutable, but not to me, the novice boasted. The gadget twisted and turned in their hands. They recovered a damaged part and replaced it. They cleaned dirty contacts with a dry brush, then a wet brush, then a dry brush again. They set the gadget on the table with a flourish and turned it on, yielding no result. The novice muttered foul words to themselves. They found it impossible that such a thing could be, and thus tore the machine down to its bare bones, searching for an answer. Eventually, they gave up and sat down. Cancerous thing, I suggest you purge it from the records. No. No? Yes. No. I intend to find its issue and fix it. I just can't feel what's wrong with it. The novice gave the learner a blank look. Feel. Feel can only tell you so much, but of course, I think we both know what you're talking about. You're still the same superstitious moron I left you as when I was transferred. And you're a non-believer, a fool who sees with their eyes and not their soul. The novice almost cracked a smile, but instead frowned. There isn't a thing I can say to convince you otherwise, is there? I mean, there's something wrong with it. Something. Somewhere. It just needs to be found rather than giving up when conventional logic gives up, the learner protested. The novice quietly swore to themselves. All right, I'll give you that much. Maybe it isn't just cursed or ruined or anything. Maybe it's just something weird and illogical that we wouldn't think of. So, what might it be then? Answers to be found, but where? In its feel, in the way it works, in the way it gives feedback. You do this to augment your normal abilities. The learner attempted to turn the gadget back on, but nothing happened. They searched every crevice and found nothing. Nothing, 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 the learner remarked. The learner and the apprentice sat in silence for a moment. The learner spoke up first. Maybe we haven't got enough power, enough raw conviction to think or know we can fix it. The novice scoffed. You want to believe in that, believe if you want. But I'm going to stick with what makes sense. And what makes sense is that this device is, well, less than functional. Though it does bother me that I don't know what... The novice trailed off. Wait. I see it. I feel it. Do you feel it too? I feel it. It feels wrong, like a scream by a voiceless person, like suffocation. I know this... somehow. It's not getting enough voltage from the power supply circuit to the main board. The novice tore into the gadget and checked the power supply circuit. Look at that. This trace is totally lifted. Of course it's not getting enough power. The learner gave the novice a look. Did you really just... I think I did. But listen, we need to be sure about this. We can't just guess that the lifted trace is the root cause, that it's the only root cause. True. Let's get down to business. Pliers? The two swiftly replaced the power supply circuit, and turned the rebuilt gadget back on. "It's happy," the novice blankly remarked. This short piece was submitted by Grease Cokes. He submitted it for the fun of it. Narrator Teresa Garcia. Santa Claus waited until all was silent throughout the world. The lion in a red fur coat, a floppy red hat with a white tassel. His lion tail whisked to and fro as he prepared his griffins to fly around the world to give gifts to all the good cubs. And to bad cubs, he gave out rocks. He kissed Mrs. Claus goodbye, his lioness wife. She made a spell to stop time for the magical night of Christmas. All the good boys and girls and adults of the furry world were in suspended animation as Mrs. Claus recited the spell. "Stop time for my husband. It's magic time for him to shine. Bring dreams to those asleep of candy canes and sugar plums. They will never wake until the morning light, and they won't fear the shadow of night." Santa Claus gave a hearty ho, ho, ho as he cast a spell of his own. "Give my white griffins flight this magical night, and that boys and girls won't fight." He cracked the whip and his magical sled ignored space and time, and within seconds he flew all across the world. He moved fast as a dasher and a prancer. He left presents for a blue griffin and a black unicorn, and for a good couple, Glenda and Phil. Daisy the dog Doyle tried to eat, but the drow got a black eye. Vidiz and his lover Amehana. Aurora Avila the phoenix, who invented trance and launched rave music. The bad cats got rocks in their stocking. Justin the Fae and his sister Gabrielle. Even the cat mage's magic was weak compared to Santa Claus. Even to an eagle eye, no one could see the red blur in his griffins flying through the night as good boys and girls got Santa's delight. The next day, many adults and children were visited by Santa Claus and cheered holiday cheer. Toys made by his robots were delivered, but those who could hear heard his holiday cheer. "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year." This story takes place within the world of Grease Cokes' creation, wherein he has tales that he weaves about these particular characters. His books, I do believe you can still find on Amazon under the author John Krause.